Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. I recently finished reading a book, in fact yesterday, and it is a newer cozy fantasy. I think it was 2021 this was released. Nope, 2022. And you probably have heard of it. It's Legends and Lattes by Travis Baldree. And this is one that I knew was a fun, cozy fantasy and one that I've wanted to read for a while for a couple different reasons. Number one being, man, I love the idea of working or starting a coffee shop, maybe with books included, and getting to know people and creating a small community of friends, and to sort of put myself into the character's shoes, which is hysterical because the main character is a retired orc warrior, which is hysterical. But I sort of put myself in that main character's shoes and thought, just man, what would it be like if you, obviously it's a fantasy story, but taking it real for a second, you had a career, maybe you didn't like it at all, and man, all you dream is just doing something for yourself, something that is certainly a risk, but something that you have a passion for. And maybe having a chance at getting a break like Viv does in this story, by coming into some wealth, and you know what? Betting on yourself and going for it. It was such a freeing story, such an empowering, motivating element to it that I really enjoyed, and I flew through this book. So before we get into the plot of Legends and Lattes, who is our author? Well, Travis Baldree, he is a game editor, and he helped work games such as Fate is probably one of the biggest games that he had to help to do, and he does also a lot of audiobook narration. He has a great narration. I checked out his audiobook just to kind of hear what his voice was like and to hear some of the voices that he gave to his characters, and he does a great job. And I think it's also funny, maybe while he is himself reading, as he says, for hundreds of stories, and yes, I have no doubts, he looking through his sort of personal repertoire, there are so many books that he has narrated. I just imagine while he's gleaning how certain authors do things, how other authors do things, how he likes and doesn't like, he's not just gaining ideas and inspiration, he is gaining real novelization skill sets. And then he decides that he's going to write his own book, and he self-published it on Amazon Self-Pub. And did it take off? And what is that book? Well, that is Legends and Lattes, this cozy fantasy. So we're now, I believe in America, it's been purchased by Tor Fantasy, yes. And I know overseas that a couple other publishers have purchased it, and good for him. There is a second book that goes right along with our main character Viv. It's a prequel, so the second release book, but a prequel story. And then most recently he released the third book in sort of the world. Yeah, so that one just came out as well. So 3 books in this series, loose series, I would call it. And yeah, the second one is called Bookshops and Bone Dust, and the third is called Brigands and Bread Knives. So you got a main story, prequel, and then a sequel. So what is the point of this story? What is the plot? Well, Viv is ready to retire. She has had a life as a bloodthirsty, cutthroat, sword for hire, and she's had so many injuries, she's had so many close calls, and she is ready to be done. But her most recent victory has brought her upon this sort of mythical item. It's called a Scalvert stone, and it's this sort of legendary stone that grows in the belly of a Scalvert, which is this sort of mythical beast. And when you kill the animal and harvest the kind of like a pearl, you harvest it from its intestines, it supposedly is going to bring you good fortune and good luck. And she walks away. She washes her hands of her former compatriots, her former friends, and she sets off on her own to do what she has been dreaming about. And yes, what is that? Obviously, it is opening a coffee shop. So she was introduced to coffee on one of her militaristic escapades, and fell in love with the drink, the flavor, the aroma. And so she knew if she ever got her break, she was going to go to a normal town, work normal jobs, and make hopefully normal friends in a normal community. So that's what she does. She travels to the bustling city of Thum, and she identifies, sort of by luck, by following a few magical devices, she finds a rundown and abandoned shop, not on the main street, but on a nearby street, and she purchases it with money that she saved up and gets busy renovating and preparing to open the coffee shop. She has to sort of make a team. There's a team element in this. Cal is a burly carpenter who, throughout the story, helps her renovate the shop and grows more and more comfortable maybe expressing his own creativity, whereas his sort of gruffness would have certainly pushed down on those creative tendencies. Her partner in crime is an interesting character, Tandri, and she's on the cover. This is Tandri, and this is Viv. Tandri's character is interesting. She is a specific type of mythical animal, beast, creature, being that is overly sexualized and is very sensitive to all types of emotions. And so she sort of is coming out of a college setting, a higher education setting, where there was a lot of pressure on her and a lot of assumptions made about her that she sort of is having to still grapple with and still move past in her own life. So she sees Viv's advertisement. I was going to say it like a British person, advertisement. I don't know why I was going to do that, but let's just go with it. She responds to Viv's advertisement and applies to be her second hand. She doesn't have any experience in making coffee or doesn't even know what it is. And Viv sort of looks at her weird and it's like, well, why did you apply for the job? And she asks, well, do you have any experience? Viv says, touche, and hires her on the spot. There's a couple other characters that come along. One of them I really liked. His name was Pendry. He's this very unassuming musical bard who comes and asks if he can begin playing it in the store, which is called Legends and Lattes. And she says, sure. And he, like maybe any first-time musician who's feeling a little bit too confident, plays a lot of like his own musical creations, and nobody likes it. So he runs away embarrassed, comes back, and calms down and plays some more natural and common music as he builds his own repertoire. So there's a lot of firsts. There's a lot of newness in this story, and it is super, super fun. I love the story of someone who dreams of opening a coffee shop. For myself, imagining myself in this, it was literally fuel to my own fire. And there are these legendary cinnamon rolls that get crafted and produced and sold at Legends and Lattes. And man, how Baldry described these, I would kill to get my hands on some of those cinnamon rolls. So if you read this, and I hope you do, enjoy the story like I did. There were a few confusing elements, things that I didn't like, and one I think would have made the story stronger. The thing that I didn't like, Viv has to overcome a hindrance in the story, and that is that nobody knows what coffee is, right? It's this far outlandish foreign drink that only she's really found because she, as an orc, traveled all around. So she brings coffee beans, coffee, lattes, drinks to Thum, and she has to sort of explain and introduce everybody to coffee. That's not the part that I had a problem with. That's fine. But for a fantasy world that doesn't know something like coffee, Baldry was very comfortable infusing profanity into the story in a way that I just thought wasn't necessary. This was a whimsical, a cozy story, one that you feel for the characters, the ups, the downs, the risks, the rewards. And just to sort of base something as everyday and commonplace as coffee that someone has no idea about, I don't know why just everybody suddenly knew American and English-speaking curses. Like, why was that the choice artistically when you could have been so much more creative with even making world-specific curses? Why do they have to be modern world profanity? So that was just one element. I'm always so fascinated with fantasy stories when, if they're going to have some type of cursing or profanity, why not be more creative with it? Like, something that I like about Brandon Sanderson's stories is that, yeah, he does have the world-specific profanity, but it'll be specific to that culture. And there's not the inherent offensiveness of it as real-world profanity would be. And I thought that Travis Baldree had an opportunity to be super creative there. And I thought really just sort of foul-tipped that one, or struck out on that one, if I could keep that baseball analogy going. One element that I thought would have made the story a lot stronger was Viv and Tandri. They're working on sort of honing in how much they're going to charge on the menu. And yeah, it gets that specific. How are we going to build our menu? Which I thought was so fun. And Tandri always wants Viv to charge more. Viv always like any first-time shop owner maybe, is like, no way. There's no way people are going to pay like 4 of their currency for it. We're going to charge 1. And Tandri's like, no, this is good. People are going to buy it. What I would have liked is to seen maybe a whole chapter or a part of a chapter after the first month, after the first 2 months, of them actually having to reckon with, are they charging too much? Are they not charging enough? Like, sort of infusing the element of bills and margins and revenue. I think that would have been a cool part of the story that doesn't really get talked about. There's just the element of things are going well because people are showing up, so we're making money. That was something that I thought could have been fun, but again, by no means detracted from the story. It was a wonderful story. Such a cool idea, an orc who wants to retire and open up a coffee shop. I mean, that is brilliant. I can just imagine what Travis thought maybe when he was narrating a book himself. Maybe he was just sitting, maybe he was mowing the grass, and he just, this moment of inspiration comes to him. Man, what a great idea. Definitely going to continue with the series, and I would encourage you to check it out as well. Legends and Lattes by Travis Baldree. I gave this a 4 out of 5 stars. Having read so many epic fantasies, this is my first true cozy fantasy, and I can see why these are such fun drop in, drop out adventures. Small scale, but real at the same time. Legends and Lattes, Travis Baldree. Check it out. Have you read this book? Are there other cozy fantasies that you have read and that you enjoy that I have not? Please put them down in the comments. Let me know, and I would love to check those out in upcoming months. But thanks so much for watching. If you're curious and interested, you can like and subscribe, and we will continue reading fun stories, fun adventures, and get back together in the next video.